Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. We've been doing a number of updates recently regarding issues we're seeing in the intersection and interplay between banking and immigration documentation. And this is sort of the latest in that series. I made a video that went up yesterday, as of the time of this video, yesterday or today. This will probably go up for tomorrow, and so we'll be talking about yesterday when this goes up. In any event, we were talking at that time about how basically prospective retirees should be, if you're not in Thailand yet, do not make presumptions based on even very recent information going back within the last month. And those folks should be talking to somebody here in Thailand before they come. It would be optimal because they may need to get certain ducks in a row before they get out here. This video is less about folks that are currently abroad and more about folks that are here, and this may pertain to folks having to deal with things like extensions in the very near future. And what are we talking about? Well, my team, my staff here in the office deal with retirement visas quite frequently. We also deal with things like marriage visas. We certainly deal with things like business visas and work permits and extensions thereof. So long story short, we deal with all different kinds of visa categories: long-term residence visas, destination Thailand visas, so-called digital nomad visas, as well as the smart visa from time to time that'll pop up. And we also may be dealing with things like the elite visa from time to time. But my point is, we also deal with the really nuts and bolts kind of visas, what I call the fundamental visas, the Immigration Act of '79 visas, things like the standard business visa, the standard O marriage visa, the standard O retirement visa, which stem primarily from that act and weren't sort of created later in all of this hodgepodge that we've seen, different times. They've created different visas, some of which have sort of been effective to varying degrees. That said, the point I'm trying to make with this video is the prior video I made was talking about retirees especially, and those looking to come to Thailand. If they're not here yet, it's a good idea to contact us before coming, because it's probably a good idea to make arrangements before you come under the current prevailing rules that we're dealing with here in Thailand regarding retirement visas. This video is more for folks that may be extending in the future. And what are we talking about? Well, as the title suggests, all I'm going to say is there's a big bank, that's it. That's all I'm going to say, that is creating a new policy, or has created a new policy, regarding affidavits regarding balances of bank accounts for those who are looking to extend their visas. And what we're seeing right now from this big bank, enough said there, is they're requiring that basically funds be put on hold for as long as 4 months before they will issue the affidavit associated with the getting a visa extension. So basically, for example, if you're in a retirement visa here, standard O, even an OA, you could be doing this. You basically show, hey, I've got money in the bank, I've got my 800,000 baht. In the past, a document could be issued the day of your extension, the day before, a week before, whatever, shortly before. Currently, one of these big banks, again, enough said on the name of the bank, I'll just leave it with big bank. This bank is saying, no, it's our policy. We want to hold your 800,000 for at least 4 months before we'll issue the affidavit. Now, understand, not all banks are necessarily requiring this. Just this for now, and we're dealing with this not just anecdotally. We've had hands-on experience with this. But one bank in particular that a large number of people happen to use is implementing this policy, apparently. And people are pretty upset. Well, even our contacts within immigration are kind of like, hey, what the heck? What are you doing here? We're not even requiring that. Why are you doing it? And it's all coming through this rubric of know your customer and anti-money laundering, and we're going after so-called scam accounts, which all looks to me like a bunch of World Economic Forum, OECD nonsense that we've seen brought in, frankly, in the last 2 years under this present government, which I'm frankly hoping we're turning a corner on now and we can get past this. But long story short, we're still dealing with the ramifications of this in real time. And the upshot of it is, as a practical matter, I can see where this banking affidavit stuff is going to be a real problem possibly for folks who are possibly going to extend their visas moving forward. Now, is it a foregone conclusion that this will stay the current rule? No, not so much. Is this an immigration rule? Not exactly. As discussed, the folks that we've talked to at immigration, or I should say my staff primarily talk to all the time at immigration, are not overly thrilled about this either. They're sort of nonplussed about it because they're sitting there saying, hey, this isn't us asking for this, and a lot of people are blaming us when this appears to be an internal bank policy. As discussed in other videos about banking specifically, we've often discussed the fact that, look, internal bank policies are their own. They can set their internal policies and deal with their customers how they want. You know, me personally, I would not love the idea of the bank saying, hey, we get to hold on to your money, and if you want this document, this is what we're going to do. There are possible other banking options that we have come across ourselves here in the office. Again, how this evolves remains to be seen, but that said, I'm basically making this as sort of an advisory, if you will, not exactly an alert. I didn't put an alert on this because I don't think it quite rises to the level. I don't want to scare people. I get constantly accused of fear-mongering on here. All I'm trying to do is put out relevant, real-time information that may be of use to the expat community. And long story short, this big bank affidavit policy probably will have tremendous ramifications on the expat community. So that's my point in making this video. Those who may be needing to do their extension, especially sometime possibly in the next 4 to 6 months, may not be a terrible idea to look over your situation, sort of figure out where you stand with this, figure out if you are going to be directly impacted by this. Is this a bank that you're going to need to deal with? Now, I get into more in-depth analysis regarding expat matters in our paid news service. Those who are interested in that can email us at media@integrity-legal.com, where I'm getting into many different things. I actually recently made a video about a story I had dealing with the U.S. Embassy here in Bangkok and the evolving nature of administrative law in the context of the American system. Folks might find that somewhat interesting. I expect in the coming days I'll be making some more in-depth videos regarding, again, sort of issues associated with Thai immigration and kind of the ins and outs I'm presently dealing with. I make these videos in an anecdotal way, talking about what we're kind of dealing with in the office in real time. So anybody that's sort of interested in that, again, media@integrity-legal.com. Also, very quickly here, I want to throw in a plug for Pancake Palace. My better half and I have opened a restaurant here in downtown Bangkok. I'll put a link in the description below where you can go to find us. But Pancake Palace, as you can imagine, breakfast anytime. We also have American diner food, chili, cheeseburgers, buffalo wings. We've got French toast as well. It's not just pancakes. We got French toast at Pancake Palace as well. All-day breakfast, bottled Coke, glass bottled Coke, the old-fashioned way. So folks that are interested in having some good old American diner food in downtown Bangkok, you might want to stop by. That said, circling back and sort of in conclusion on this video, the thing to take away is internal banking policies are having a tremendous on-the-ground impact that we're seeing for folks that are looking to extend their visa status, and these internal policies can have an impact that might not necessarily be foreseeable for somebody as far as 4 months out. So the point I'm trying to make with this video is you may want to contact a legal professional regarding these matters, as you may want to have your ducks in a row as far out as months in advance so as to be prepared to deal with your visa extension here in the Kingdom of Thailand.